Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes. We already know that it's right up there with, of course, Dragon Ball Evolution on the IMDb rating score.
From the second Disney canceled the UK premiere of Snow White, the meltdown was unstoppable. What should have been a magical reimagining with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot? Total disaster. Now, Hollywood insiders are laughing because the warning signs were there from the start. Sources say Bob Iger and Disney's top execs have been babysitting this train wreck for months. Knowing the project was cursed, and the brutal truth, Disney should have pulled the plug before a single scene was filmed. Instead, they gambled, and now they're choking on the backlash.
So with Snow White, let's go through this, right? There's no prince. Woman doesn't need a prince.
Oh, Lord.
Really? Okay, good luck back then.
And get this. Some insiders claim that Disney is considering locking Snow White away, just like other too risky films that studios shelve indefinitely. That's right, the film's future on Disney Plus, totally up in the air. Some execs are allegedly terrified of bringing that bad press home to their own streaming platform.
Doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Others say this has less to do with artistic shame and more to do with cold hard cash. Maybe Disney's trying to keep its distance from a box office bomb in the making. Either way, rumors that the company might skip a Disney Plus release altogether have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. And Rachel Zegler? Let's just say she's not taking it well. Apparently, Rachel was heartbroken after hearing whispers that Snow White might not make it to streaming at all, or worse, be delayed indefinitely. For someone who poured her heart into this role, the idea that Disney might try to bury the film, it stung.
To go out and badmouth everybody and talk smack about, older movies in the same franchise, the canon story, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I feel like they would have had better control over that.
And it's not like there weren't signs. Word is, production went through not 1, not 2, but 3 rounds of reshoots. Why? Because nothing was clicking. The pacing was off. Key plot points got shuffled like a deck of cards. Greta Gerwig, who helped write the screenplay, was reportedly pulling her hair out trying to fix it all. But each change just brought new chaos.
This girl took the money and then decided that she wanted to go out there and, you know what, I'm gonna take my stand. Well, you should have made that stand before you took the money to promote a film, because that's not in line with your job description.
Right.
On top of that, the chemistry, or lack thereof, between the 2 leading ladies, Rachel and Gal, became its own soap opera. Rachel's public remarks dismissing the original 1937 classic didn't sit well with fans. Or Gal, apparently. Her comments about the Brothers Grimm story were slammed as disrespectful, and many believed the modern twist was veering way off course.
I think this is their policies coming back to bite them. They went woke.
Yeah.
She went out and said stuff woke that was going to hurt the film. They couldn't come out and go against her, because then you're going after somebody for saying what you say you believe.
Fans who grew up loving the old Snow White felt betrayed. The timeless magic? Gone. As backlash grew, tension on set reportedly reached a boiling point. Behind the scenes, Rachel and Gal were not on the same page, and they weren't shy about it either. Multiple insiders say the 2 butted heads more than once, especially over how their characters should be portrayed.
But at the same time, I think going forward, they're going to be like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Tight-lipped. Otherwise, guess what? We're clawing back some money.
Yeah. This would have been a lot better if they, had a strong male along with her, a prince, if it wasn't about socialism.
But it was the 3rd act that nearly blew the whole production sky high. Filming a crucial scene at the Evil Queen's fortress turned into a nightmare. A massive confrontation between Snow White, the villagers, and the 7 companions was supposed to be a dramatic climax. Instead, the shoot was derailed by repeated arguments between Rachel and Gal. Word is it took over 25 takes just to get a clean shot. That's how bad things got.
I think they could have done all that woke shit. You want to cut woke? They could have done all that still. And as long as she had gone out and been like, well, we just have a different story. I like the old story, but we're doing a different one this time.
You're probably right.
The backlash would have been 10 times.
Yes.
You're probably right.
And then came the scene. The Evil Queen delivers a chilling monologue to Snow White about the fate of society. It should have been cinematic gold. Instead, both actresses were locked in a battle over delivery, tone, and meaning. Crew members could feel the room shift. Every take grew colder, more strained. The air was thick with tension.
Jonah Platt, whose father helped produce the latest Snow White film, had some very harsh words for star Rachel Zegler.
For context, Variety wrote a report recently titled Inside Disney's Snow White Fiasco. death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler.
One major flashpoint, Gal Gadot's decision to improvise some of her lines. She brought a much darker, edgier energy to the evil queen. And while the director and writers seemed thrilled by it, Rachel, not so much. Sources say Rachel was furious. She felt like Gal's improvisation stole the spotlight away from Snow White during one of the movie's most crucial scenes, watering down Snow White's big hero moment.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
The crew found themselves caught in the middle of this brewing storm. Nobody knew how to keep both actresses happy, and the atmosphere got so toxic that many just wanted to get through the day without another eruption. When Rachel reportedly called Gal out for not sticking to the script and for making the villain's side seem too sympathetic, insiders say the damage was done. Their working relationship shattered.
But the primary suffering is being sent in by my company to watch a children's movie as a single man, like 2 p.m. on a Thursday. That was the first part that was a little bit weird, but I was basically the only person in the theater.
Things spiraled so badly that the leadership decided to axe the entire Fortress confrontation scene. All that work, all those expensive reshoots over multiple years, it was tossed. Apparently, trying to stitch the scene together only exposed the deeper fractures. Continuity errors, different hairstyles, even lighting changes made the footage impossible to salvage.
Very few people wanted to see this. Even the little kids who like Disney movies, even they don't seem to be turning up in droves for the movie because the movie is really, really bad.
Despite how much time, money, and heart went into that sequence, it became clear it couldn't stay. Rachel, insiders say, was devastated. She truly believed that was her strongest performance. It was supposed to be Snow White's emotional peak, her big moral triumph. But after all the rewrites and Gal's last-minute villain glow-up, the final product ended up tilting heavily toward the evil queen's perspective. Snow White's arc, the very soul of the story, got buried under creative confusion. To make matters even worse, the entire film got delayed. Originally aimed for a 2024 release, Disney quietly pushed it back to 2025. Why? Insiders say the third act disaster was a major reason. They had to haul the cast and crew back yet again to stitch together a climactic ending from scraps.
And so I've got some bona fides here on being fair. The movie was absolutely terrible.
Disney's leadership, under fire from investors and fans alike, hoped the delay would give them time to fix the bad buzz. But it was a band-aid on a bullet wound. Audiences were already skeptical, and by now, the feud between Rachel and Gal was practically common knowledge.
In every way that the movie differed from the beloved 1937 original, it was worse.
In fact, rumors say the internal tensions were the reason Disney canceled the high-profile UK premiere altogether. Imagine sending the two leads onto a red carpet where reporters would hound them about the fighting. No way. Disney wasn't about to risk a PR bloodbath. Apparently, Gal Gadot flat out refused to do joint interviews or appearances with Rachel. It was that bad.
It basically, this movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter of liberalism. It wasn't through a filter of Japanese anime, it was through a filter of liberalism.
Whether their fallout was purely creative or dipped into personal bitterness, one thing became clear. Promotional plans were crumbling fast. Even at a recent awards show, people noticed Rachel and Gal avoided each other like the plague. No smiles, no small talk, just icy distance.
So from the casting to the class politics, the sexual politics, the regime politics, everything about it was liberal.
Disney insiders are panicking. Without good press and audience goodwill, Snow White risks becoming a laughingstock before it even hits theaters. Executives are terrified that instead of focusing on themes of hope and courage, the media will just keep hammering the narrative of infighting and disaster. And let's be real, there's no hiding the obvious now. Rachel Zegler's casting, though celebrated at first, is facing brutal scrutiny. As one industry insider put it, if you wouldn't cast Tom Hanks as Malcolm X, why completely reinvent Snow White with no regard for what made her beloved? There were even discussions, serious ones, about quietly dropping the movie straight onto Disney+. That's usually the move for small projects or pandemic leftovers. But even that idea started losing steam.
Snow White is generally understood to be a very, very white person. And in this case, they decided, nope, no, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we're allowed to say that, right? I was referring to the movie as sand beige.
Disney is in full-blown panic over Snow White. After pouring millions into sets, costumes, and stars, they're terrified. A Disney Plus release? Instant disaster. And it could wreck Disney's brand. Insiders say Disney fears Snow White could poison trust in Disney Plus itself. And Rachel Zegler? She's devastated. This was supposed to be her breakout moment, but it's spiraling into a nightmare. Every messy headline, every delay rumor, killing her dream. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot? She'll survive no matter what. Rachel? She's risking everything. Tension between Rachel and Gal? Insiders say it was undeniable, and only got uglier as the project fell apart. For Disney, this isn't just a bad movie, it's an existential crisis. Their remakes are supposed to preserve the magic. Instead, Snow White became a punchline for Hollywood's downfall. Now, whispers say Disney might pull the plug completely, desperate to shield the brand from more embarrassment. Rachel's stuck in the wreckage. She believed in the vision, gave it everything. But endless rewrites, co-star clashes, and backlash made it impossible. Even Disney insiders admit the damage is done. One bad press tour moment, one savage review, the media will eat them alive, and Disney knows it. Gossip is brutal. If Disney shelves Snow White quietly, it'll prove what everyone's been whispering. Disney doesn't trust this movie at all. Rachel's heartbreak is real. She wanted to honor Snow White, but the corporate chaos and ego battles crushed her dream. Gal will walk away untouched. Rachel? She's fighting for survival. If the film somehow charms critics and audiences, it'll be a miracle comeback. But if it flops, Rachel's fairy tale is already shattered. Fans are heartbroken too. Disney's magic used to feel sacred. Now, even Snow White feels like just another victim of endless reboots and Hollywood arrogance. And if Disney quietly dumps the movie onto Disney Plus without a whisper, it'll confirm the brutal truth. Rachel's fairy tale and Disney's magic is slipping away fast.